Building on where we left off, we're going to continue building the chain of this hierarchy. And every character you create could be different from the last. For example, this character is a biped, a human being. But what if you're working on a car or a quadruped, such as a cat or a camel? Your hierarchy is going to be different each time, so make sure you get a notebook out and just write down your experiments as you build these chains. It's really the best way to learn. And if you make a mistake, just look at it, or move things around and figure out, okay, this part should be attached here instead of here. It's a learning process. So let's go ahead and start off. We have our main control. As you see, we have the gunslinger control, and this peg controls the entire character. So what I want to do is I want to start to build links here to the major components. So I'm going to grab the chest, and I'm going to make sure that the chest is going to be a major component. So what's going to be attached to the chest? Well, in this case, I don't have a character with a neck. I just have the head. So I'm going to grab the head peg, and I'm going to drag it on top of the chest peg like so. And now, when I expand the chest, I see the head is indented under it, so that means it's a child of the chest. If I click on the chest peg, and I move it, you'll see that the head will follow suit. Let me go ahead and undo that. Now, what's attached to the chest as well? Well, the arm. So I'm going to grab the right arm, and I'm going to drag this right on top of the chest. And I'm going to take my time and do this a little bit at a time so you can see how this is built. And what's going to be attached to the right arm? Well, the right forearm. So I'm going to click on the right forearm and drag it on top of the right arm peg. And after a while, you start to see the pattern here. Now, as you see here, I made a mistake. The right hand is actually in the wrong spot. It's the left hand that this should be, and the left hand is actually the right hand. So I'm going to show you a secret to renaming this. Now, in Toom Studio, you can only have one thing named that particular name. You can't have two left hands. So what I'm going to do is full Toom Studio. I'm going to double click where it says left hand, and I'm going to call it right 1. Just temporarily. So now I can go to the right hand, and I can rename it left hand. And now I can go back to this one that says right 1 and get rid of the 1. And now the right hand and the left hand are where they should be. So I'm going to grab the right hand now, and I'm going to make sure that it's going to go on top of, let me go ahead and expand this out a little bit. It's going to go on top of the right forearm. So now we have this chain here. We have the right arm, the right forearm, and the right hand. So if I click on the right arm peg, we see that we have our chain here. This is ready to go. Let's go ahead and collapse all that and do the same thing with the left hand. So the left arm is going to be attached to the chest. So I'm going to grab the left arm and drag it right on top of the chest. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the left forearm. The left forearm is going to go on top of the left arm. And the left hand is going to go on top of the left forearm peg. And when I click on the left arm, we see we have our chain. Everything's illuminated, everything's highlighted. So the left arm is taken care of, and so is the right arm. But what about the revolvers? The revolver has to be parented as well. So this revolver is going to go on top of the right hand. So I'm going to grab this revolver and drag it on top of the right hand peg. But you'll notice something interesting. The gun is actually behind the hand. Now I'm going to show you how to fix this as well. Let's go ahead and grab the revolver. So let me go ahead and expand the right hand and click on the revolver peg. I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose Arrange, Bring to Front. And now that is going to be on top of the hand. Let's go ahead and collapse the right arm chain. And let's go ahead and expand the left arm until we see the place for the revolver, which is going to be on top of the left hand. So let's grab the other revolver and drag that on top of the left hand peg. And once again, let's expand that. And on the revolver, we're going to right click and we're going to Arrange, Bring to Front. Or we could choose Bring Forward. Either one's fine. Now we have the hands and the chest all arranged properly. As far as the hips and the legs, well, they're not going to be moving. So you would have to decide on your own, if you were building a character like this, whether you want to have the legs attached to the chest. If that's the case, just drag the hips right on top of the chest peg and the poncho as well. So since these elements aren't really going to move too much, they're fine the way they are. Likewise, if you're experimenting like I normally do and you find that you want to parent them onto another part of the body, feel free to do so. But as you see here, the rest of our body is now parented in a proper way so that we can have animation.